All right, in this explainer, we're going to unlock the master blueprint for project success, and we're pulling it straight from the standard for project management. Let's get right to the heart of what makes a project work.
So let's kick things off with a pretty big question. I want you to think about this. What's the real point of your project? Are you just checking off boxes on a to-do list, or are you actually building something with real, lasting value? You know, the best way to get our heads around this is with a simple metaphor we'll use a bunch. Imagine you're on a construction site. You're not just laying bricks, right? You're building a home. See the difference? The focus shifts from the task to the ultimate goal. Just keep that idea in your back pocket. Okay, so this leads us to the first crucial point, and it's a huge shift in thinking. We've got to move beyond just focusing on the immediate outputs of our work and really start concentrating on the valuable outcomes those things are supposed to create. And listen, this isn't just some nice-to-have idea. It's baked right into the official standard. An outcome is defined as the end result. It's not just about what you made, but the benefit, the real-world value it actually delivers. That's the key. Now, what's super interesting is when you look at how the most successful organizations actually do this, they don't just get lucky. They structure their work to create this value again and again. It's like they have a master blueprint. And here it is. The standard calls this a system for value delivery. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like the master plan for an entire city. It's the whole framework that connects the highest level strategy all the way down to a single task, making sure everything is working together for one purpose, creating value. So let's break that down. This system basically works on 3 levels. At the very top, you've got the portfolio. That's the big picture, the entire city plan. Under that, you have programs, which are kind of like the specific neighborhoods in that city. And then finally, you have your project, which is the construction of one single house. You can see how each level has to support the one above it. Okay, you can't build a house without a solid crew, right? Well, you can't run a project without the right people and functions in place either. So let's take a look at who you need on your project's job site. This chart maps it out perfectly. The client with a vision, they provide the resources and direction. The skilled tradespeople, your carpenters, your plumbers, they're the ones doing the actual work. Your general contractor, well, that's your project manager, making sure everything runs smoothly. And finally, the building inspector is there for governance, making sure it all meets the required standards. Every single role is absolutely essential. Now let's talk about the world your project actually lives in, because it's a lot like the unpredictable conditions on a real construction site. You've got to be ready for, well, anything. These conditions really come in 2 flavors. First, you've got your internal factors. These are things inside your own company, your policies, the tools you have access to, or even lessons you learned from past jobs. And then you have the external factors. This is the stuff you can't control, like zoning laws, a sudden storm, or big shifts in the economy like inflation. You know, the true mark of a great project team isn't just their ability to build something. It's their ability to see these things coming, both internal and external, and adapt on the fly. Navigating these so-called site conditions is what keeps you on track and makes sure you can deliver that value no matter what. So, the blueprint, the crew, learning to navigate the tough conditions, it all leads us here, to the most important part of all, the payoff. This is the real reason we do all this work in the first place. Let's go back to our main metaphor one last time, because this really drives it home. The output, that's the finished house. It's tangible, you can see it, you can touch it. But the outcome, the true value, is what that house provides, a safe, happy home for a family. That is the why behind all the work. You know, the standard itself just says it perfectly. Projects aren't just about producing outputs. They're about enabling those outputs to create outcomes that deliver value. Getting that mindset right is what separates the good projects from the truly great ones. So, as we wrap up here, I'm going to leave you with a final thought to take back to your own desk. I want you to look at whatever project you're working on right now. Look past the tasks, look past the deliverables, and really ask yourself, what is the true lasting value I am building here?